Eating lunch at your desk, Glamour do or Glamour don't?
Glamour requirement if you want to get your work done.
Welcome to Step Into My Office, a series where we meet incredible working women and learn their wisdom. Today, we're at the financial heart of New York City, at the headquarters of Goldman Sachs, and I'm here to talk with Dina Powell, president of the Goldman Sachs Foundation. Now, this woman knows a thing or two about leadership and about succeeding in a man's world, so let's steal her secrets. Thank you for having us here today.
Thank you. Welcome to Goldman Sachs.
We're on the 43rd floor. It is gorgeous here, and I want to ask you about your job. You have this incredible series of titles. You are head of the Goldman Sachs Foundation, head of the Corporate Engagement Office, and also newly the head of the Urban Investment Group. So in layman's terms, what do you do?
I've been at Goldman now 7 years. I ran all of the global philanthropic efforts of the firm, our institutional giving, which is very focused on our economic growth and job creation programs, 10,000 women, 10,000 small businesses in the U.S. and the U.K. And in February, I took on the Urban Investment Group. It's a group of individuals who've invested $3 billion of Goldman Sachs capital in community revitalization across the country.
I want to ask about 10,000 Women. Tell me what it is and what kind of an impact you're having.
So it's a program that helps female entrepreneurs around the world with pragmatic business education, links to capital, and mentors and networks around the world.
Well, watch out. A lot of our readers want to start their own businesses, so you might get a lot of resumes.
We hope so. We hope you'll go to gs.com and apply to 10,000 small businesses.
And let's go back to the beginning. I know you came here from Egypt with your family when you were young. Your father, who had been an army captain in Egypt, opened a convenience store in Texas. What did that tell you about the work ethic that one has to have?
Well, they used to always say to me and my sisters Dina, Dahlia, and Denise, they would say, you know, we left our homeland so the three of you could pursue your dreams, anything you want to be, as long as you're a lawyer, a doctor, or an engineer. So they were a little prescribed at times.
No pressure.
And they definitely had views, but instilled a sense of sacrifice and sense of work.
You said that when you were growing up in Texas, you wanted nothing more than a turkey sandwich and potato chips for lunch, but instead you had grape leaves and falafel and hummus, but that now you're so grateful for that kind of cross-cultural upbringing. What made you grateful?
I'm really proud that my parents kept such a strong focus on our heritage and where we came from, because many years later I was able to use my Arabic skills when I worked at the State Department, and to, you know, always really feel a sense of heritage from, you know, the country of my birth.
So you wanted to go to law school, but I know that after an internship with then Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison, you ended up going into the office of the majority leader at the time, Dick Armey. What made you decide to make that switcheroo and say no to law school? Senator
Kay Bailey Hutchison called me and said, why don't you come do a one-year fellowship that turned into almost 15 years in government, where I worked for Senator Hutchison, for the majority leader in the White House, and then the State Department. Kay Bailey Hutchison really was a pioneering woman in politics at the time. Did she give you any advice about your career or work in general? There is something to be said for someone who becomes the first anything. She started very young. She had to show a lot of grit and resiliency. I've had the privilege of working for a number of leaders that have taught me that. I think a lot of young women now want a mentor and also know that it's important to have one for their own career advancement. What do you tell young women if they're looking for that person who can really help them along? Finding someone that you admire in your industry that you can go to. It doesn't even have to be in your exact industry. People feel very honored to serve in that role. But then you have to follow up. You have to make the time to check in every month. You have to make the time to say, I've taken your advice, it worked out, it didn't work out, what else should I do? When you were working for President George Bush, you headed the personnel office and you were responsible for filling thousands of government positions. So you probably know better than anybody what succeeds and doesn't in a job interview. What's the one thing that you think always works? Honesty, being real. And talking about why you're interested in the job, a personal anecdote, where you came from, your family. Are there any differences between how a female job applicant will sell herself versus a man? I encourage women in the interviews to brag and tell me what you're most proud of.
So it's okay to brag a little bit.
Yes, because that shows what your particular strengths were.
You're a mother of 2. And, I'm curious if you think that the advice that women get now that, yes, you can do it all, you can have it all, go for it, is on track, or if it's more complicated than that.
Honestly, I don't know what having it all means. I think I try.
No one does, right?
Yeah, I definitely don't. I try to do my best every day. That's what I want my daughters to see.
I want to take a few minutes to ask you about some Glamour do's and don'ts for the workplace, according to Dina Powell. Email at the dinner table, Glamour do or Glamour don't?
Not with my children.
Raising your voice or yelling in the office, do or don't?
Don't. I think being firm and direct, always good and required, and being honest, but finding a way to do it that way.
And never yell, right?
No.
Thank you so much. Really
Thank you,
appreciate
Cindy.
it. Glamour loves to hear from our fans, so let us know which female career superstars you'd like to hear from. Just put their names in the comments below. And thanks for watching Step Into My Office.